You're listening to the Reaching Japan podcast. My name is James Miyashita. So glad that you're here today. In this podcast, we cover updates and news about what's currently happening in our lives and ministry. You can find us on the web at reachingjapan.com, facebook.com/reachingjapan, and twitter.com/reachingjapan. Now, if you haven't already, please leave us a review for this podcast so others can find it as well and join us on the journey of reaching Japan with the gospel. Thanks so much for tuning in. Here's what we're going to be talking about. Wow, where does the time go? We just finished up Easter Sunday, and it's already the end of April. How is that possible? It seems like we just started this year, and we have been way behind on these podcasts. I am so sorry. It's been a lot of working through things, processing things, so I really do appreciate your patience. But we had a new milestone on Sunday morning. We had 10 adults, which is awesome because we've never had double-digit adult attendance before. And, right now we are in this phase with the church where we're not really pushing a lot of the kids' ministries as much as, trying to be a little bit more steady on the adults who are attending. And so Mr. Toshikawa, who's been coming on Wednesday nights, came on Sunday. He typically works on Sunday mornings right now. But he came and he was helping with slides. He's not a professing Christian yet, but he was helping out. And we had some other visitors as well. It was neat because I met a couple. They were working downtown, and I was passing out tracts downtown. And we started talking. They're Brazilian, and they said they go to a church that's like 2 hours away, which I was kind of blown away about. But they decided to show up on Easter Sunday morning. And they actually live like 5 minutes up the street. So I was like, oh, okay, hello. I meet people downtown that live over here, because it's always been kind of puzzling to me about how to more run into people and have those conversations and things. But it seems like, in a sense, being downtown allows me to meet people that live out here, and there's not as much of a good way to just naturally create connections out on this edge of town. But that's just my perception. I could be totally wrong on that. But one of the things that we've really realized is that a lot of people drive in our city, and so there's a couple of paid parking places. It costs like $5 to park a car there. And so what we've decided is we said, hey, if you're a first-time visitor, we're going to cover your parking. Because sometimes, some places, you could just rent a parking space for an entire month, just go into contract. But because our attendance is kind of up and down right now, we aren't really in a place to just contract out a parking space that we're going to use literally like 2 hours a week. So what we decided is instead we could just pay up front for these parking tickets that we can just hand out. And they don't expire, so we can just pay, $100 up front and have, enough for 20 visitors. And then, if we don't use them, then we're not just sitting there burning through funds for an empty parking space. And so, kind of with the idea of, if you drive by a church and the parking lot's empty, then you're like, is anything going on there? But since it's just a public parking lot where you can just anybody can park, we don't have to deal with that negative publicity, I guess you could say, on days that our attendance is a little bit lower because it's not just ours. So that's one of the issues that we're looking with. There's actually a dentist. They're out of business right now, but I've been over there before and wasn't able to get in touch with them, but they've got like 6 or 7 parking spaces. So please be praying with us that maybe we could talk to them, because they don't really seem to be using their parking lot at all. And it would be really great if we could at least get some kind of parking going on. But that aside, the school season has started. It usually kicks off at the top of April, and it's no exception this year. Because of the COVID stuff still, though, we're not in lockdown or anything like that, but a couple of universities that I know of are doing this kind of a hybrid online and in-person thing. So basically they say, if your student ID number is odd, then this week you are doing online classes. Next week you're in person, and so they flip-flop. And then even numbered students are the opposite. So whenever the even numbered students are in class, the odd number students are online, and so they kind of split their student body so it flip-flops back and forth each week. But anyway, I've been able to get into like English speaking. It's called the ESS. It's English Speaking Society. It's a club that's specifically designed for people to practice their English. So I was able to start meeting some students through that a little bit. And then we actually happen to live right by another university, which ironically it was started by a missionary over 100 years ago. But judging from what I've seen and what they do, they have long left, any sort of traditional Orthodox Christianity. They have a chapel building that would very much look like a traditional church building, and they have a little notice board outside, very fancy, and like smack dab in the middle of it is like a gay pride flag. So there's definitely nothing orthodox about it there, but they also have a part of their campus that's dedicated to English speaking and students who want to practice their English. And so I was able to go there this week and meet a couple students and get some contact info and things like that. So it really feels like over the last couple of weeks we've been able to really meet some more people and get out there a little bit more, just because things are starting to pick back up. But we are about to go into what's called Golden Week, which is sounds kind of crazy, but in Japan at the top of May there's 3 days that are holidays, and they're stacked. It's May the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And also April 29th is a holiday. So basically, if you take off on the 2nd and on the 6th, you can have a 10-day holiday. 10 days straight. So it's called Golden Week. A lot of people travel. A lot of people do things like that. So we're about to head into that. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing how we can maybe leverage that to do some Bible studies and meet with people and go from there. So that's just a little bit of what's been going on with us. Continue to pray for us. Right now, I'm thinking about maybe for the time being, because our attendance is up and down and our evening service hasn't been really well attended, I'm thinking about whether or not to maybe just kind of nix that for now and then try to maybe grow back into it later. But we will see about that. I'm leaning towards probably canceling. I remember hearing one time there was somebody who said that they starting an afternoon service, and they said they were doing it at like once a month just to kind of get people used to the idea, instead of just immediately starting with it and being not very well attended. Just kind of gradually get people used to it. And since we're dealing with a culture that isn't accustomed to 3 services a week, maybe taking a step back and reevaluating that. But anyway, thank you so much for praying for us. Thank you for staying in touch. Thank you for listening today. And we do appreciate your prayers. So that's a little bit of what's been going on here. Now, if you have any questions or comments about what we talked about today, I'd love to hear from you. I will do my best to answer those questions on this podcast. You can always reach me via email. My email address is james@reachingjapan.com. That's james@reachingjapan.com. We are honored to serve under the direction of Vision Baptist Church and Vision Baptist Missions in Alpharetta, Georgia. If you're looking for a way to take your next step in ministry or missions, please reach out to me. Thanks for tuning in today. We will see you next time.